Welcome to Flourish. I'm Diane Planidin, and you are in the right place if you're ready to create an inspired life. And we do so by working on our own personal development so that we can mentor those we love and cherish to become successful in their own way. Now, this morning I read a famous quote from Bertrand Russell, and I thought, you know what? That is what I am going to share with you today, because I'm noticing more and more people online. How do you study? How do you think? How do you do this? And I'm thinking, holy moly, stop the boat. Because since the beginning of time, it has been a very simple solution and not one that is shared commonly for some reason. So, how do you learn to think, to have common sense, to act on your own? Well, in a perfect world, you begin to teach your children at a very, very beginning level. Let me read you his quote. When you want to teach children to think, you begin treating them seriously when they are little, giving them responsibility, talking to them candidly, providing privacy and solitude for them, and making them readers and thinkers of significant thoughts from the beginning. That's what you want. You want to teach your children how to think for themselves. Why is this important? Well, a lot of kids, if they don't have some guidance, they get into a little bit of trouble because they don't understand that they could have thought through the consequences. They could have thought through the process of their actions and their motives and what's really driving them. And this is vital in our survival in an adult world, because it's a little doggy dog out there these days, and if you really want to give your children, your students, those you mentor, the best start in their life is you give them that opportunity to make decisions, to think about consequences, and then they can really start digesting things, especially when they're in those moments of privacy and solitude. It's really a positive seed that you're planting, that you're, and it just kind of dominoes from there. It just grows and flourishes. It's really quite amazing. So when he says, take them seriously, treat your child with as much as respect as you're expecting from them. How do you talk to them? What is that conversation like? Now, some of you might be saying, that's too late for me. I guess I'll give up now. It's never too late. If you didn't have that type of influence in your life as a child, if nobody really sat you down and asked you your opinion and what you're thinking and why, maybe challenged you a little bit, gave you a little run for your money, if that never happened to you and you feel you could expand on that principle, then start today. Just start today. Become a reader. And I know there's a lot of fun little sayings out there, readers or leaders, etc. But if you start reading things and have the opportunity to digest things, it makes life so much better. When you actually pick up a book, a paper book, yes, one made out of paper, because I know a lot of things are digital now and there's a lot of audiobooks, and that's really great when, you say you're driving, you want to listen to a story. Wonderful. But to truly digest material, to truly get in the heart of what is written, I highly recommend the paper book. And I highly recommend knowing that it leads to better cognitive abilities. That was your first tip on helping one another to think, use your common sense, make decisions, workshop brain power, is to read. And you don't have to start with the philosophy of Bertrand Russell. And it's a big read. I'm just going to say that out loud. You can build yourself up gradually over time. Think of it as a puzzle. That's tip number 2. If you think of learning how to learn, learning how to think as a puzzle, then you can put the pieces together gradually. You can garner information from different sources. Reading is the number one source. Then back that up from what you've heard, what you've read. Listen to other speakers, listen to other people, what they have to say. And it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter what grade you got in school, you just begin and level up. Think of it as a game, a puzzle. You keep leveling up and leveling up and leveling up. And the next thing you know, you practically have a university education for free. The third tip is to have a conversation with other like-minded individuals, people who are reading the same book. There's lots of different groups you can find online, or meetups, or book clubs, and maybe even in your community, or start one on your own. The idea here is to start by reading, gather information from different sources, and then have that conversation with others. Workshop it out. Build your brain. Build that power. Oh, it's such a powerful, powerful weapon we have inside of us. And then when you're teaching your children this, and it takes time, it takes a long, long time, you can begin to have conversations with them. Why don't you read a book together, depending on their reading level or their age group, something appropriate, and then really discuss it. I really wish that I would have learned how to think for myself when I was young. I mean, sure, I made decisions. It wasn't that I didn't learn how to think at all, but I would have looked at movies differently. I would have looked at books differently. I would have probably paid better attention in school. I don't know. I wasn't very much of a scholar. I'm just going to say that out loud. But take, for example, The Wizard of Oz. That story is just amazing. But what really resonated with me is some of the great quotes. Glinda the Good Witch said to Dorothy was, "You've always had the power, my dear. You just had to learn it for yourself." Oh, learning things the hard way. I did an entire episode on The Wizard of Oz, and I'll link that in the show notes. But my point is, when I read the book, I didn't really think about that. When I saw the movie, I didn't think about that. When I saw the play, I didn't think about that. My own brother was in the play, and I just thought it was really cute and neat and fun. But if I would have drawn from those different sources and had someone to talk to and just brainstorm and discuss what that actually meant, something as simple as The Wizard of Oz turned out to be a very, very deep story. Wow, that was an exciting episode, and I really hope I've given you some great ideas on how you can help others to level up in their thinking. Remember, read. Do the puzzle so you can level up, bring it from other sources, and then have that conversation, and you will lead a more inspired life.